Silence is no longer an option when it comes to our students and our schools. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the HBO team that demands accountability, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. Señoras y señores, les presento al equipo HBO, pero se escucha mejor HBO. Un equipo que demanda accountabilidad, transparencia y exige responsabilidad fiscal. We're going to start with our first. I would like to introduce you to our first candidate, Mr. David Ocampo. Un aplauso para él.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone? Hopefully well. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate your time. It's great to see so many faces, so many parents that are concerned with the education or lack thereof in the community. So let me introduce myself. My name is David Ocampo. I'm a Westchester resident for the last 11 years. I'm a data engineer by profession. My background is in business economics. I've worked within supply chain roles and finances and whatnot. I'm an Evans Scholar, a Cub Scout den leader, a husband, and father to 3 beautiful children who are now not present because it's dinner time, but I am invested in this community. Tonight, I'd like to focus on 3 areas of opportunity that would benefit the community. Those 3 are addressing community concerns, being responsible, accountable towards them, fiscally responsible and transparent, and engaged with a bilingual community. I believe that problem solving happens when there's open dialogue between 2 parties. When the line of communication is severed, nothing gets resolved. And that is what I'm seeing today in this administration. Your concerns, my concerns, our concerns are going unheard and ignored. It is frustrating to hear parents talk ad nauseum at board meetings about the same issues. What's happening? Are they being addressed? We don't know. So I'm proposing to engage better with the community via surveys or other web-based tools to track that information. I am a data guy. If we can track, we can measure. If we can measure, we can know how successful we are toward our goals. It's difficult to aim in the dark. It's difficult to aim when you have no target. Next, let's talk about fiscal responsibility, assets and liabilities. I see some familiar faces that are maybe business leaders, and they know what an asset is and what a liability is. Assets are good, they're beneficial. Liabilities, not so good. We have plenty of assets in our community. Our teachers, concerned parents, support staff. We have one big liability. The administration. I know you were thinking about a certain individual, but referring to the administration. So, where are our tax dollars being spent? Do we know? No, it's a mystery, right? When you see that special education has $0 allocated to it, what do? You can only begin to question, and then when the administration says, what's there to question? Why do you have concerns? Isn't that a big red flag? We should be concerned. As a taxpayer, if I told you, give me $1,000 and I promised you some sort of return, ludicrous. You wouldn't invest in what I'm selling. And nor should we with this administration. Lastly, engagement with our bilingual communities. Oftentimes, Latinos get ignored, and it's unfortunate because there's that language barrier. I've experienced it myself growing up. My parents didn't speak English as I was growing up. They often relied on me to translate stuff. How can you ask a fourth grader, how to read a financial document? It's insane. So I'm proposing that we engage with the community through workshops, webinars, and whatnot, to communicate how do we access these resources. There are resources at our disposal. We just don't know how to get them. But through workshops, webinars, we can bridge that gap. Lastly, our children, yours and mine, deserve a quality education. As I mentioned before, I am a Cub Scout den leader. And one of the things that struck me as being a den leader is that we're called to leave a place better than how we found it, so that future generations can benefit. So I'm calling upon you all to support Hixson, Barbahen, Ocampo slate this April 2023.
All right.
And I'm wondering why I'm still here, so I'm going to speak in Spanish for our Latino community. Okay? So bear with me. The hand gestures are all the same, the language is different, okay? Buenas noches, mi gente de Proviso. Les agradezco. Buenas noches. Les agradezco su tiempo por estar aquí hoy conmigo. Me llamo David Ocampo, soy residente de Westchester por los últimos 10 años. Soy ingeniero de datos, esa es mi profesión. Trabajo con información de cadena de suministros. Estudié administración de empresas. Recibí beca para ir a la universidad. Soy líder de los Cub Scouts de Westchester. Soy padre y esposo. Quiero hablarles de 3 asuntos graves o importantes, hacer énfasis en 3 asuntos importantes. El primero es responsabilidad en cuanto a los asuntos de la comunidad. Segundo, responsabilidad fiscal y transparencia. Y por último, la mayor participación en las comunidades bilingües. En cuanto a los asuntos de la comunidad, es lamentable que esta junta directiva no nos oye. Nosotros nos quejamos a través de las redes sociales, a través del internet, y nadie nos oye. Y es frustrante. Nos cansamos de solo hablar y no hay acción. Es hora de tomar responsabilidad, que nosotros tomemos la responsabilidad de que nuestros hijos reciban una mejor educación. Por eso yo propongo mayor integración con la comunidad a través de encuestas para supervisar los asuntos. Para medir el éxito, tenemos que medir. Si no medimos, no sabemos a dónde vamos. El tren que propone la administración, ¿a dónde va? ¿Quién sabe? Segundo, la responsabilidad fiscal. ¿Ustedes saben a dónde van, cómo se invierte su dinero de impuestos? Nadie sabe. Es una lástima. Yo como inversionista, yo tengo que mantener un presupuesto. Yo tengo que mantener un presupuesto de mi hogar para que haya comida, alojamiento. Y esta administración, ¿qué hace? Malgasta. Y no es aceptable. Tenemos que cambiar eso. Por eso yo quiero que los documentos fiscales sean más transparentes para todos, para que ustedes sepan a dónde va el dinero. Hay recursos y es para ustedes todos. Es nuestro dinero. Y por último, mayor participación participación con las comunidades bilingües. Yo, como dije, yo dije que soy hijo de padres mexicanos, y mis padres no sabían cómo involucrarse más. No es que no querían, no sabían. Y hoy en día tenemos los recursos para hacer eso. Podemos tener talleres, podemos utilizar el internet para llegar, para integrar con la comunidad latina. Porque, como dije antes en inglés, no ponen los recursos a los latinos, a los bilingües. Y eso tiene que cambiar. En fin, esta es nuestra comunidad, estamos integrados, trabajamos aquí, vivimos aquí. Esa es nuestra oportunidad de hacer el cambio. Yo les suplico que nos apoyen en todo. Apóyanos, apoya a Hixson, Barbahen y Ocampo en abril 2023. Gracias.
Now I would like to introduce Ms. Sandra Hixson.
Okay, I'm gonna need my spectacles because you know I'm kind of old. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Many people within the community may know me very well, but for those of you that do not know me, let me introduce myself to you and why I want to run for the school board. I am ready and prepared to use my experience to help restore the school board. I am Sandra Hixson. I'm a 58-year resident of Proviso Township, a graduate of Proviso East High School. I'm a retired teacher and a former school board member of School District 88. I have a master's degree from National Louis University, where I became a proud member of the Glen Ellen Area Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for the past 22 years. I am on the Membership Services Committee and currently serving as the Event Planner Director. My past memberships include the NAACP, sitting on the boards of Rosetta Lambda's Torchbearer Foundation, People, Divas, and Gents, Loving Arms Community. I am also a wife of 52 years, a mother, a grandmother of a spunky grandson who is currently a Proviso resident. I have a passion for kids that spans decades. Having a servant's heart, dedicating and taking action for the betterment of my community. I was the first African American woman to be the Vice President of Bellwood United Way. I also served as a Bellwood Youth Commissioner, President of the Bellwood Community Fair. I don't say these things to impress you, but I say these things to press upon you my desire to work with our youth for the betterment of our community and villages. I've worked on several political campaigns, from presidential to local to states. To be an effective community servant, I know that David, Jenny, and I have what it takes to do our job. Our goal will be to focus on the whole child and what that directly impacts our children possess that takes to do the properly. As a former board member, it pains me to see the gross mismanagement of our current board. When we fail to uphold the oath of our office, we are elected to become a burden on the taxpayers. Knowing Robert's rules, knowing and understanding and following the laws that govern our board, educating our children and advocating for our children and families, we must abide by these laws. So what I did, I wanted to take it a different step. And I want the community to know how serious we all are about this. So I'm going to read to you part of the oath of office when you are elected. I shall shall is the law, not may. I shall abide by the majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such directions through ethical and constructive channels. As part of the Board of Education, as the case may be, I shall accept the responsibilities for the role in the equitable and quality education for every student in the district. I shall foster with the board extensive participation of the community, formulate goals, define outcomes, and set the course for School District 209. I shall insist in establishing a structure and an environment designed to ensure that all students, let me repeat that, all students have the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through the sound and organization framework. And lastly, what I want to say, I was a substitute teacher, School District 209, until politics got in the way. I know what goes on in that building. They're telling you that we have teachers. No, we don't. We don't. Students are still sitting in the auditorium. Bus, they still don't have transportation. If they have lunch, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Their schedules are messed up. I'm here to let you know that the teachers that we have and the teachers that we lost, it is a disgrace that we lost some of the best teachers in the district. And for those teachers that stuck it out, thank you. We admire you. I mean, I wake up some nights going, I don't know how they do it. They are so blatantly disrespected. We need to change this. We deserve better. Thank you.
I would like to present Ms. Jenny Barbahen.
Good evening. Happy Monday. Thank you all for being here. It's really nice to see so many faces. I am Jenny Barbahen. I am a mother to 4 beautiful children. My oldest is a senior at Proviso East High School. I see some pirates. Let's go. When I tell you that it has been a tumultuous experience, a whirlwind, I mean it not only in the sense of how quickly our children grow and go through high school, but also in terms of the dysfunction and devastation that we have firsthand experienced in the last few short years. I have now witnessed what Proviso East is like under 2 different administrations. And what is happening now, what we as parents, students, community are experiencing is not normal. It is not acceptable. I clearly remember the excitement my son and I felt entering freshman year at East. The inspiring energy, the enthusiasm, the hope, the pride as we walked in those doors. It was exhilarating. Unfortunately, that positive energy was short-lived. Pandemic aside, this administration has heralded in massive changes on a whim, with no plan, no care for students' best interest, disconnected from parents and community, with no collaborative efforts. The destruction and chaos has been crushing. I am not here to talk to you about what we all see and what we all know is happening under this administration. I'm here to talk with you about what needs we have and what we will do to ensure positive change and success for all students. The rebuilding of hope come April 2023 for our kids, current and future, is the utmost importance. Sandra, David, and I are dedicated to putting students first, always. strong foundation, rooted in our communities. Proviso, it needs its village. We will restore effective communication on all levels and between all stakeholders. Communication is key to building and maintaining relationships. It facilitates collaboration and innovation. It increases engagement and contributes to educational growth for our students. We will repair broken relationships. To have collaborative working teams dedicated to the betterment of our students, we must work together in an environment with respect. We will reinstate board committees focused on student achievement, financial oversight, and equity imperatives within our schools. Committees comprised of experts in their field dedicated to gathering information, making relevant recommendations, and helping to inform the board on educational policies and critical issues with the collaborative student-focused mindset. We will refocus on positive school culture and climate in our buildings and ensure that the students, the teachers, the staff are safe. They are cared for physically, emotionally, and mentally. Creating an environment of mutual respect and pride. As board members, we will re-engage our parents as partners and our communities as critical components to our children's education. Rebuilding board member connections with parent groups, student advisory groups, and community engagement groups. Empowering parent voices to be advocates for their students and to feel heard. We will resolve the lack of accountability. Enough with contract extensions. Enough with having no superintendent evaluations. Enough with blatant board approval without any explanation. Enough restructuring without a plan. And enough with no requirement to be held responsible to answer for those poor decisions. The path forward will be hard and long, and it will require immense community involvement, but not just for the election. We need sustained involvement to ensure that long-term positive change becomes the expectation. I was asked a few days ago, is Proviso really the hill you're going to die on? My answer was no. Proviso is the hill that we are all going to unite on. We will do everything in our power to enact positive change on. Because your kids, our kids, all Proviso kids are worth fighting for, and they deserve it.
So HBO, the H is for Hixson, B is for Barbahen, and O for Ocampo. Thank you so much. Now we're going to open up for questions or comments. And if you still have time if you want to do that. Vamos a ver ahorita el espacio para preguntas o comentarios. Todavía están a tiempo. You're still on time if you want to go ahead and comment or have any questions. I would like to call to the microphone Mr. Scott Henderson. He's a teacher. I do.
So those of you who know me know that if I don't have a sheet here, my question might take about 20 minutes. All right, this is for the candidates. The board continues to approve credit card bills of tens and now hundreds of thousands of dollars with no itemization. And I know I'm asking this question as someone who doesn't live in the district, but these are funds used for the students that I teach and ought to be used for them. Would each candidate comment on their view of that and how they would vote or insist on transparency for the taxpayers on monthly expenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Thank you. So, again, going back to my comment about fiscal responsibility, the first order of action is getting my hands on that itemized bill. Right? We can no longer allow carte blanche, free spending. Right? The spending spree ends immediately. We need to account for every cent that is spent. We are no longer wasting taxpayers' money, right? So that is in regards to that, we will get our hands on it. We will perform an audit, what have you, but the free spending ends.
As school board members, our primary job is to be the fiduciary of the district. Period. David is the finance guy. We need to get in those books and see where our money went to. We can't do this without your help. There are some tools that we would like to use to be able to come back and inform all the taxpayers exactly where the tax dollars are going.
The superintendent is our employee. If the board asks for the itemized credit card list, we will get it.
If you haven't registered to vote, we have people in the back that can help you do that. Si usted no está registrada, they're waving at you if you want to look in the back. Si usted no está registrada para votar y que se quiere registrar hoy, la podemos ayudar allá atrás. Now I would like to present Ms. Lavash.
I apologize, I get a little long-winded sometimes with my question. So just to give you guys a little bit of kind of a backstory, we have no college and career counselor anymore at Proviso West. I don't think at East either. So a lot of teachers, including myself, have taken it upon ourselves to help kids with FAFSA, the Common App, a whole bunch of stuff. I have 2 field trips lined up to the University of Chicago, Loyola University, actually in Notre Dame, so 3. I have yet to receive word back from the district about approval, buses, nothing. So my question to you is, how are you going to support the needs of our students, especially our seniors? Perhaps board funds for college trips, but not board funds to fund board members going on personal excursions to visit family in Mississippi. So that's my question.
So when we found out what was going on, we knew that they had gutted the Career Center because one of the counselors, which also happens to be our sorority sister, Carla Williams, was there. That was primarily what she was doing along with a lot of other counselors. So as far as this year, let me bring it back to this year. I'm going to ask my sorority, because we do have retired educators, if they could come on board and help the students with their FAFSA. I will run this past our chapter president and get some answers to you by the end of the week. Now, as far as governance, let me be very clear about this, because this really annoys me, and I'm speaking very slow. So I'm trying to parse my words here. These are our tax dollars. You want to go on vacation? Do like I do. Save up your money and go on vacation. Not on our tax dollars. You have to govern yourself. We know all of these school board workshops that will be coming up. And I think the 3 of us will decide, do we go to one once a year or do we go twice? But I need to stay at a 5-star hotel and have a limousine pick me up. The buck stops here. That's not why you're here.
positively affecting children, being used for children, being used for instruction, it's not going to happen. We're not going to go on trips. We're not going to have expenses paid. They need to be itemized, and they need to have an explanation of how this is going to impact education and students.
Can we have Danielle English?
Hello, I have a sidekick today, so please forgive me. This is the future supervisor West, Easter actually. So my name is Danielle English, and I'm a teacher at Proviso West. I'm also a Proviso West alumna, class of 03. A taxpayer from Maywood, so forth. So my question, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but they've done it a lot of support staff. So we have no deans. We have no department chairs. We have, what else? A lot of things that we just had in the school to support us is no longer there. So my question is, will you guys reestablish deans, department chairs? Because we're suffering. Our grade level principals are doing 5 jobs. And as you can see, that's where the chaos is coming from. It's very chaotic because one person cannot do 5 jobs. That math is not mathing. So my question is, will you reestablish these vital positions?
You know, I know, and you know we're going to do that. That is a priority. We have to bring that in. It's hurting the students. It really is hurting our children. We cannot have that. And I know that we know that we are not the end all be all, but just give us a chance. We've got to restore some of the things that are missing. And I don't know if you taxpayers are aware, because you may not know what's going on. Did you know that they have secretaries serving as substitute teachers? Yeah. Did you know that? Yeah. Then should we be asking yourself a question? Are those secretaries even qualified to be in that classroom? Do they have a substitute license? These are some things that you need to be thinking about, because we're all about that change. Okay.
I'd like to add to that is how can we burden, how are we allowed to burden our teachers with all this nonsense, right? That's happening. It's just, it makes no sense to me. I can't fathom why we would do this, right? Why would, as a community, we would allow this to continue? Now, same response en español. El asunto donde hay muchos maestros que están haciendo múltiples trabajos es grave, es triste. No podemos, ¿cómo puede pensar la administración que una persona que haga 5 trabajos? Uno se cansa, ¿verdad? Uno se cansa y se agota. Tenemos que cambiar eso. La pregunta era que si restablecemos posiciones que ahora ya no están, y sí, yo apoyo esa posición, ese asunto donde lo que antes era, volverá, esas posiciones. Gracias.
Terry Kalish. Yes, it takes a lot to come on here, just so you guys know.
Hi.
question for you is not my feeling, but feelings that I am seeing on social media that I kind of want to address. So if elected, how will you guys combat 209 fatigue? And what I mean by that is community members who have long-standing feelings about how 209 is operated, that they feel as though it's a lost cause, that there's no way to change the long history of corruption in 209. How will you engage the community and help them to realize that they need to participate?
That's a great question. I think we're all under 209 fatigue as it is because there's so much happening on a daily basis. From my community, I can speak from, and from all of the Proviso Townships, there is a lot of fatigue. And there's a lot of people who are like, discount it. You know, Proviso's always been bad. It'll always be bad. And that's just not true. Proviso is not bad. We have good kids. And we have to watch the way we talk about our district too, and the children that are in it. It's important to engage taxpayers. If they want to say, the schools are always bad, they'll always be bad. Your taxes are being mismanaged. That affects your property value, and it affects everything in your communities. If we have good schools, we bring in better communities.
I'd like to add to that a bit. There was, when I was talking, one of my points was the using surveys or what we are supposed to record and measure and track against that. That would help, I think, again, combat this fatigue. Right? We could then measure and see and prioritize which issues are the most severe, right? Because yes, I witness it too. I see the same reoccurring issue. But today's problems won't be tomorrow's problems. And that's why we need to record and measure against our successes. Ahora en español. La pregunta era que hay muchas quejas en las redes sociales y qué haremos para cambiar el clima, cambiar la discusión, el tono de la discusión. Y como dije antes, que yo quería básicamente supervisar las quejas en un base de datos o de tal forma para poder medir nuestro éxito. Porque si no tenemos meta, no sabemos si hemos logrado, si hemos llegado al éxito. Gracias.
I lived in Forest Park for most of my life, and I live in Westchester. I graduated from Proviso Math and Science Academy in 2013. I also taught for 3 years at another Title I school and was a 571 local delegate there. So when I was at PNSA, I had 5 different principals. And it's really sad to see kids now kind of on that same track. There are 2 questions. First, so there's 7 members of the board, correct? Yeah. So if all of you were elected, you wouldn't have a majority. So my question is, how do you build trust with an admin that's hostile or find a new one? A new administrators, principals. So that's the first question. And my second question, I've left the profession now, so it's relevant to me and many other teachers, is how do you retain and attract quality teachers when it has that reputation that Karen was speaking about in the community and other communities?
Okay, so let me try and remember part 1 and part 2. So the several principles, that's not going to happen. No student needs to be going through 7 principals. We need just that one at that one school. Proviso West currently is going through the same thing. It's a revolving door. New principal today, new principal 2023. Okay, January 2023. So that's part one. Your other question was about the seats. Okay. The reason why certain things are allowed to happen, I'm just going to go with it. Count the votes. So if two of us get elected and the other one doesn't get elected, the chaos and confusion will continue. Okay. So we need all three plus one. And I do believe working with that plus one, we can make a difference. We can make a difference. And one doesn't get elected, you might end up paying a $2 billion contract instead of this 1.5. I'm sure by the time we win, it'll be 1.8 million. That's the change. It's got to be 3 plus that 1. I think he's pretty good at math. He got a contract, a huge. But the buck stops here.
To answer your second question, how do you attract and retain quality teachers? I think number one, stop retaliating against them. The one person in charge is the person who sets the tone all the way down. If that person leads with disrespect, hostility, we can't expect anyone to want to stay. And we're grateful for the ones that have. And I'm telling you, it's the students that keep our teachers here. It's our amazing communities, it's our amazing students. But if we don't have our leader that leads with respect, integrity, is humble, who can apologize and communicate, we have no hope to retain quality teachers. So if we remove the cancer, we can start growing.
So I'm in a two-part question. I guess, and then it goes like this. So what does equity, consistency, and fairness look like to you? Now let me give some background, okay? I teach at PMSA, but I also can say I have taught at Proviso West, which I also, and I love both schools. You are both very dear and near to my heart. But there are some interesting things that I've learned. Okay. First off, it's not the same like when it comes to professional development for teachers. When I was at Proviso West, I said, wait a minute, I thought I was limited to one professional development a year. That's what they told us at PMSA. They're like, oh no, you can go to as many conferences as you want. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. The second thing was consequences for students. Like, we heard a story about like how a kid from PMSA got into a fight with a kid from East over the weekend. The kid from PMSA didn't get any consequences, no suspension or anything. The kid from East was suspended. I'd like to see some kind of consistency going in enforcing of district policy if possible. So that's the other thing. So there's that. The other thing too is that one of the ways that I really think we can also help teachers as professionals, because we want them to be experts in their subject areas and their subject matters, would you consider helping teachers pay up to a certain dollar amount for their professional memberships? Because I can tell you that with the alphabet soup of professional memberships I have to like 5 different professional organizations, between teaching foreign language, teaching social studies, and also having a 75, so I also belong to the ASCD. Yeah, I spend probably close to $500 a year out of my own pocket on professional memberships. Thank you.
So I'll address your professional development question. We want the highest educated, quality teachers around. I think that it makes sense to help pay or have some kind of reimbursement for teachers to go on and get professional development opportunities, certifications, and increase their own education. Because that can only come back to the classroom and benefit our students.
To add to that, I second that. I personally, at work, I benefit from personal development, right? I get reimbursed for any activities that I do, and so the personal enrichment, I am completely for it. Now, a little bit in español. La pregunta era acerca del desarrollo personal para los maestros, y nosotros estamos en favor de dar dinero en cuanto a fundir esos programas. Now, with regards to consistency, we have to be consistent. We have to hold each of ourselves accountable, right? We can't, and it starts from the top. It starts from the top. No one is above the policies set forth, right? We cannot act as if we are above them. We are subject to them. And we expect our students to behave in like manner. Now, unfortunately, the way things are running, it seems chaotic, like a circus, and our students see that, right? And so they think that they can behave in that way. But we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Everyone must be held to the same standard. There are no exceptions.
So this is a question, it's not my question, but it is from someone in the community who asked me to ask you this question. Because again, if you don't know, we exist, those of us that work at Proviso, we exist in a culture of retaliation. So you may care for your students, but you are not expected to speak out for your students. So I'm going to share this concern. This is in dealing with how would this slate, how would the candidates ensure relationship with PACE. We know that PACE has been a support for Proviso students for a number of years, and that the current superintendent at first attempted to pull completely out of PACE, and now has pretty much just backdoored the process. Right now, as it stands, according to this individual, there are no buses. We are now in October, and students are still sitting at home waiting to be registered because they cannot get in touch with the school and who they need to get in touch with at the district. There's no communication, and currently, Pace High School traditionally has about 40 to 50 high school students service that Proviso schools are servicing, and there are 17 currently from Proviso. How does this slate plan to address the current board's dismissal or lack of services for our PACE students, our special ed populations?
First of all, we would have to apologize to Mr. James. Then foster a relationship, a trusting relationship with PACE. We have to have PACE. In case you don't know what that is for our diverse learning students. And some of our students that have some behavioral issues. Unfortunately, I was at that school board meeting where Mr. James came and he was ready to present, and he sat there for 3 hours. They were not going to let this man present, even though he was on the agenda. It wasn't until the attorney said that they must let him speak that he spoke. And even then, he was a champion. Had it been me after I spoke, I would have left. That was not Mr. James. That's He listened for the remainder of the school board meeting. By the way, it was 11 p.m. So the first thing we must do is repair a broken relationship with him.
My name is Sandra Hixson. I'm a mom of 7. So currently I have 2 right now at Proviso East. And this is about to be 2nd year living in the area. So this is all new to us. You know, coming from the city, we were expecting high hopes. And unfortunately, right now with the administration that's going on, has been a train wreck. My daughter was assaulted her freshman year last year. And it took about a week of me being at their door, hounding them, and me telling them, where's the footage? My daughter was slapped during lunch. What are you guys doing about it? Nothing was done until I told them I was gonna involve police. And you know, they ended up brushing it under, saying, you know what? We saw the tapes, we saw he hit her, but we talked to him, and I was never told if discipline was ever given to the students. And to me, that wasn't right. You know, my question to you guys is security gonna change? Because unfortunately, from what I see social media and my kids that they tell me every day, it just seems like it's getting worse. They said, Mom, they were checking bags. You know, when you know the news was involved, they were checking bags. They're like, but right now, they'll just pass the book bag around the table. They won't even check it just to get you in the building quicker. So to me, that's not safe. You guys, obviously, everyone knows someone was with a loaded weapon inside the school, and that's not safe. You know, I'm thinking I'm sending my kids, and you know, I'm at home thinking, oh God, no. And then for everyone to find out at 11 o'clock at night an email, unacceptable, unacceptable. Like, is there going to be changes in the future for that? And the second part was, how will IEPs and 504s be handled? Because from what I see, it's more of kind of, there's nothing going on with that. And I have a daughter that will be going soon to the school in 2 years to Proviso East. She has a 504. She has a condition where I fear for her just going there. Like, I want to look for schools outside the district, but I want to give a chance. And, you know, I know change, it takes time, but with you guys, as, you know, our next possible administration, what can you guys change for us parents that are right now if possible? First of all, I'm sorry to have your daughter. Nobody should have to go through that. I'm also a Proviso East parent, and the security has been non-existent. The security staff has basically been cut in half since when we first started. Parents have been coming to our current Board of Education. Students have been coming, community teachers, and have been begging for the board to listen, that their students don't feel safe. As a parent, I don't feel like my son is safe at school. They have hired some new security guards, but they're only part-time, not full-time. We are not at full staffing levels for security. So I wish I had like a better feeling to give you about that, but I worry the same thing every day. Part of that component is communication at a building level is non-existent. We've seen a little bit at East specifically that our principals emailing us and giving us information. Last year we had 0 communication. So when there's lockdowns, we hear from our kids. We don't hear from administration. Part of what we want to do is rebuilding communication. As a first step, if we're not communicating, if our buildings aren't communicating, if our superintendent is not communicating, nobody has any idea what's going on. And it's sheer chaos. And our kids deserve to go to school and feel safe. How do we expect them to take an SAT class if they're scared they're going to get jumped at lunch? how do we expect them to read chapters every night, answer questions, when they're sitting in a classroom and students are roaming the halls? If our students are not safe, they cannot learn. I think all three of us are incredibly dedicated to making sure that staffing levels are at least what they were pre-pandemic, if not more. Because as we know, our students have had trauma. They're scared, and they deserve better. So we need more security staff, and then we need more counselors and social workers, and people who can help them work through that. We need restorative justice. Well, I know there's legality where you won't know what the ramifications were or the determinations, but there needs to be restorative justice practices in place for all of our kids.
Okay, Mr. Mark Paul.
Okay, HBO candidates, welcome. Welcome parents, teachers, everyone else. My name is Mark Stoll. I've lived in this area for over 27 years. I used to be on the volunteer fire department in Berkeley, and we responded to a fire in Maywood one day. And we needed certain equipment to tear the fire apart to get to the hot spots. The village administrators there said, you can have one piece. Former captain of mine who worked there full time, he had the village board arrested, and he went and took the equipment that he needed. So, candidates, my question to you, how far are you willing to go to make sure we have transparency? I was at the meeting last year near the teacher strike over at school, and it was very heated. And I do recall somebody who was at the top of the chain almost physically attacked a fellow board member. Now, I don't remember them all myself, but I would like to see some semblance of Robert's Rules of Order at a meeting. And for them not to listen to anyone, for them to sit there, you guys are all looking at me. When I was there, and teachers, parents, children in school, students were talking to them, there were certain members on the board that were on their laptops. They were not paying attention. How do you, that's a clear sign of showing disrespect and that you're not even paying attention. Now, in that situation, like I said, there was one woman that stood up and she was almost physically attacked. How will you guys make sure that that doesn't happen again? You know, I want to know, how will you press it to make sure that everything is transparent? Also, as a quick follow-up on that, do you guys have a candidate in mind as an overall new possible superintendent?
So to address your first concern regarding transparency and how far we're willing to be open, right? Like how much are we willing to risk, right? So going back to being a Cub Scout and whatnot, you know, there are young minds and eyes that are watching us, right? We are responsible to them to adhere ourselves to a higher standard, right? So, you know, there may be adverse situations, but cool heads prevail, right? And I am the mind of, you know, first there's dialogue, but, you know, when things happen, situations get escalated. We have to take the appropriate measures to address them first, and not let it escalate into chaos. dialogue, I believe, is important here. Let's not get heated. Now, Sandra provided this for me. Part of the oath is, and I quote, "I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members." So I will adhere to it. We will all adhere to it. And others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees. So I will hold myself to higher standard. I certainly hope you hold me to higher. And I will hold the administration to a higher standard and not let it spiral into chaos. Yes, thank you. Yes, Sam.
So let me address that issue where a female was called out of her name and a male tried to hit her and security had to pull him back. Is that what we're talking about? Madeleine Albright said, "There's a special place in hell for any woman that does not take up for another woman." Anyway, I might not like your politics. I might not like the way you act. I might not even like the way you look. But as a woman, I'm taking up for you. I was livid when I saw that. I think that the culture and climate is such that certain people feel that they can talk to women any way that they want to. All I'm gonna say is, you're walking over, but you're looking back.
Thank you for that. Yes, it was a very chaotic, inappropriate scene. My next question is to the board and also to everyone out here. Can we get Chris Welch? Can we put pressure on him as a community, everyone, to open his eyes to what is going on in this a lot of people complain on various social media platforms that their mayors should do something. Everybody knows the mayors have no say-so over Proviso Township. Chris Welch has influence on Proviso Township. You know, and also, the question earlier about how do you get teachers and keep teachers? You can't get them under bad administration. A lot of teaching staff, it's all word of mouth. If they realize, if you know, you have teachers such as Miss Gillespie over here, if she tells her friends, you know, how great things are going, they're going to want to come here. If she says, "Oh, this place, I don't know, if it weren't for the kids and my love for them, I'd be gone." That they see that also as a red flag, and they don't want to come here. And as far as when they say, if you get in HBO all three, that's 3 votes. Okay? The last mayoral election in Hillside, less than 11% of the population voted. Now, so that's my thing to you on April 4th. Make sure you get out and vote. Make sure your friends, your family, neighbors, anybody from the area get out and actually vote. Because just this group here is all that goes out and votes. You know, there might still be it'll be a tough election. But if we all get out there and vote this current administration out, we will have an administration that works for us and our children. And that's what we want. So make sure everybody votes, because your votes do count.
there and I was talking to him. I said, oh, so you're Mr. Henderson. Finally get to meet you. How about that? He said, yes, ma'am. Who are you? I said, I'm Trina Ellis. Well, the school has been this. It's really very beautiful. We have a school full of teachers. The IEP children are going to have everything they need. You're talking to a parent. You don't know I'd be there, but the teachers knew I was there. I'm there. You're lying to me to my face. You're trying to beat around the bush, and it's not good. I've been on NCLB. Every board there was in the school for parents, the PAC, everything there is, I've been there. And I told them, I said, me being a part of CPS, I like CPS ways better than I like this here. This is too small to go through the chaos that it's going through. I would have my children in the city and went to school. I didn't have to bring them out here. When I found out that my children would only have to go to Proviso West, I thought they could go to LT. I was disappointed, very disappointed. Yet I moved 4 blocks over in Westchester. They'd have been at Lyles Township. So me saying this, I want to know what are the processes that's going to go forward with bringing in the principal. First of all, he did not let us know he was going to bring in a new principal. Second of all, we have yet to meet this principal. Third of all, how he's going to be a principal without an interview process. There are people that's supposed to be in place to be interviewed for the position, but no one is being interviewed for the position. We're just being told, you got to be principal, you're going to deal with it, it's my way or the highway. And I don't like superintendents that's very disrespectful to their board members and other community members. Like he said, the peanut gallery was Westchester and Forest Park, where I come from, Westchester. And then he said that North Lake and Melrose Park were trailer trash. These are the words that they said. They were wrong, disrespectful, and I felt bad about it because you say you don't want a white man running our school, but it's the black man that's tearing it down. I'm trying my best to keep my head up and stay positive with God, because this man is totally disrespectful. He's not supposed to be a superintendent. He's too cocky and too arrogant and too narcissistic to stay in the whole place. We do need to restore justice. We need restorative justice. And I've been trying to implement that since I got in there. We finally got a parent board. And then when I asked them about the Title I funds, they looked at me like I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Every school has that. It's just crazy the way they're doing things. Then they had this budget meeting. I'm mistaken, is the budget meeting supposed to be public? That we supposed to know what's going on with our budget? Thank you. It's just so much. And when kids, I blame my children when they fail themselves. But when there's a school coming in and you were failing my child, now I got a problem. Now I have to stand and say for it. And I'm the one who brought the new media to Proviso West. We got them involved. And I'm going to keep on calling them out. I'm going to keep them involved until something's done. Because our children are lacking. It's not about us. These streets are wild and they're crazy. And if our children don't have anything at home, and then when they get to school, when I was growing up, we got love at school. Some children get love at home, but they got more love at school because we spend 6-7 hours a day with those teachers. We spend more time with the teachers than we do with our parents. We got to get together as people, as a race, as community members. We got to take care of our children at home. So when environments like this come along, they'll know how to handle themselves. But right now, our children are falling through the gaps and aren't ready for real life once they come out those 4 doors of these high schools that they're in.
Yes.
You're 100% correct. But incompetence has no color. And respect starts at the top. If our students come to a board meeting and the Board of Education sits there with their earpods on their phones, chewing on candy and not paying attention, what are our students learning? They're learning that anything goes, nobody cares about me, and that has to change, and it has to start from the top. The superintendent's responsible for hiring, administration, our principals, our grade level principals, but right now we're not going through a normal process. He's cherry picking who he wants from where he wants and not presenting the board with full information, full bios. Why is this person a good candidate? Why is this person going to work at Proviso and be the best principal that we need? We're getting not the best of the best. So change has to start at the top first. We don't get to pick principals, we get to pick superintendents.
Ms. Ellis, thank you for your statement. Let me just do a little add-on here. Where the superintendent may choose who he wants in the school, the buck stops with the board. We say yes or no to that candidate. If we say no, this is not a good principal, they can't be hired. So if you're getting, and we are getting principals that he hired, then the board is going along with that. He can't do that by himself, okay? So I just really need to clear that up. I don't know what the process is at 209. I know what the process is at other school districts. I know that human resources gets involved in that. I know there are background checks involved in that. And then it's presented to the school board, okay? Does that help you? Does it help everyone?
Thank you so much for your comments and questions. We are in a very tight time. So we're gonna do our best to continue till 8 o'clock. And for the ones that we don't get through them, we'll follow up back with you, okay? I wanna thank you guys for all your support tonight. I would like to bring Michaela Soto. When we went on strike, we said we wanted to retain and to attract teachers. We needed higher salaries. We needed classroom resources. We wanted functional class sizes. He is disrupting all of that. He is creating a district that people want to leave and have left. I want to say there have been over 60 resignations over the last 2 years. We're losing valuable teachers. They are assets to this community. And I've chosen to stay because this is my home. I live in Maywood. These are my property taxes as well. I pay his salary, and I vote for the board, but I did not vote for the one that is on there now. Let that be very clear. Amen. I'm strongly endorsing this slate. If you are a resident of this township, please vote for this slate. We need a change, desperately. Something that I really wanted to bring the attention to, especially for Proviso's parents of seniors. Have you seen your child's grades? Have you seen their historical grades? Have you seen their transcripts? Something that a lot
something your parents might not know is that because of CVE and our superintendent being so quick to remove it, not all of our students' grades are prepared. They're not ready for transcripts. When they send out those applications, they're going to be incomplete. Request your child's transcripts. Request your child's transcripts. Because as I know, as of Friday, senior grades were not up to date. Senior grades were not up to date. That is dangerous for our students that are about to start applying for college, okay? So just keep that in mind. We have a lot of stuff going on in Proviso, and we really need the support of the community. And I'm here as a community member, begging for the support. Because this superintendent that we currently have is ruining our school. This board, the current board majority, is ruining our school. They have stood up there and preached about a pro-black agenda, how we need more black and brown teachers, but here they are suspending the black and brown teacher that lives in the district. They have talked about the teachers who take their paycheck and go out to DePage. We're in here, we're in Cook County, we're in Proviso Township. We need your help, we need your support. He's running good people away. And if you all are not vocal, it's only going to get worse. And we've been sounding the alarm for the last 2 years. I'm glad we have a slate of candidates that are here to help and who can change it and who can help form a new board majority that actually listens to the concerns of the community, of the teachers, because this is what we need. So my question to you all, is, how do you plan to be involved? I understand that the Board of Education is only responsible for choosing the superintendent. I really want to know how you actually plan to hold the superintendent accountable if you all win, you all win.
Thank you very much. And we stand by you and your cause. So holding the superintendent accountable, again, going back to tracking, right? Like I hear reoccurring themes. I want to track that. I want the community to be actively involved in tracking that too, because we can't all do it alone. We need your support to establish. We need to understand what is the baseline, right? We need to evaluate it too. We cannot go on like this. So we need to establish regular evaluations and get the community's feedback, because it's not just our decision, it's our decision.
Now I would like to present a future leader, a student, Max Oyster.
Hello. I didn't think I was going to speak, but I guess I am. As a part of the LGBT community, and I have lots of fellow students that go to my school that are also part of the LGBT community, my question is, do you support us, and are you willing to work with your queer staff and students to make the changes we need to make our schools safe for LGBT students?
Last year I found out they closed the non-gender bathroom. And when that students and teachers worked really hard to have a non-gendered bathroom for our students to use. And that was closed, and that's absolutely unacceptable. Every single student, regardless of your status, your gender, your race, should be respected, treated equally, treated fairly, and feel safe, welcomed, and loved in your school.
Okay, they broke the law when they did that. January 1st, 2021, there should not be a boy or a girl labeled on the restroom, any of them. So the law was broken, and I apologize. But there's another student here, Chelsea, stand up. You should have known I was going to call you. Stand up. Chelsea is a thriving, bright, intelligent young lady from Proviso West. Stand up, Chelsea, wave. Stand up. So again, we do apologize for that, but we will rectify that.
Okay, we have room for one more. Ms. Amanda Grant.
Hi, good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amanda Grant. I have a son who is a freshman at Proviso West, and I am a current member of the Proviso 209 High School's Board of Education. And also apparently the head of the peanut gallery, which I know he meant as a really hurtful thing, right? He's disregarding us, he's disregarding you. It's easier for him to write off parents and community members if he reduces your opinion to peanuts. But that's not what's going to happen. And I want to point out something really important that I heard from Ms. Stokes, actually. You asked a question, what happens when these three amazing people up here are elected, you know, but they don't have the majority? The truth is, it's a 7-member board, and my seat is not up in April. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exactly. So something I want us to be just looking out for in the coming weeks and months. I do predict that Henderson will try to use district funds to help prop up the one candidate of the 3 that he really wants to remain, and that's Teresa Kelly. So it is already happening. If you notice publicity and things like that, the stadium was part of it, but things like that are going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if there's another mailer that comes out, like the one they did last April, targeting board member Medina. So something that we really have to keep an eye on, and something I know that I've been struggling with for the past few years, is that all of this chaos and disorganization and mismanagement and bullying and cruelty and meanness, it wears you down. It's hard on our kids, it's hard on our teachers, it's hard on our community. But this is the time we have to dig in and find our inner strength and lean on each other and get it done, because these 3 people have to be sworn in next April if we are going to save our schools. They have to. And I want to thank all of you and applaud all of you for coming out and taking this first step, but it is just the first step. We need to be sure we're registered to vote. We need to make sure our neighbors and family members are registered to vote, and then we need to start knocking on doors on behalf of these 3 people who are going to help get in there and help us all get the job done. We will have 4.
your petitions today, all 3 of them. Also, you're going to register to vote. We can assist you in the back as well. Si no han llenado las peticiones, por favor, llénenlas, todavía están a tiempo. Y si no están registrados para votar, los podemos ayudar atrás a registrarse. I would like to thank the Proviso Teachers Union, the Illinois Federation of Teachers, also sheet metal union members for hosting this event, for letting us use the event today. Also, Proviso 209 United. I want to thank also all the volunteers, all the people that make this event happen. También quiero agradecerle a todos por haber venido hoy, agradeciendo también a las uniones de los maestros, al lugar, estamos aquí por habernos prestado el espacio. And from now on, I would like to introduce you, the HBO members. Vote 4/4/2023 is going to be our number 44. Please go out there and share everything that you guys seen today. Because if you want to change, the change starts with you. Así que, si quieren ver un cambio,